breaking things down. What does that mean, and how can that help with game development? So in the past, when I've been working on projects, I've always noticed that each project generally follows the same trend, in that I initially start with a great deal of enthusiasm that then tapers off rather quickly due to the feeling that I will never be able to complete the project due to the seemingly insurmountable amount of work that I will have to complete. Now, when you look at a game like the one I'm working on currently, Battle Tanks, that feeling is going to come on rather quickly because this game is a lot bigger than it initially looks like. It seems just like a pretty simple game to work on, but in reality there's a lot of complexity to this, and I'm guessing if you're working on a game right now, there's a lot of hidden complexity to your project as well. So how do you get around that feeling of that there is just too much to do, that you'll never be able to finish the game? How do you get around that feeling? And one of the techniques I've found that helps is breaking things down. So how that works essentially is that instead of looking at the game as a whole, you break things down into small chunks, and then in each chunk, if you have to, continually break down these pieces until you have something that you can complete in a relatively short amount of time. So essentially what that does is that sets, at least for me personally, it sets me up for success and allows me to reap the benefits of having that feeling of success, that increased level of enthusiasm for the game, and being able to continually work on stuff and check boxes and stuff like that. So it essentially helps you create success in the short term, whereas the long-term success that you're looking for here is actually completing the project. So what tools can you use to actually get this to work? The biggest thing I've found actually is Trello. So if we go ahead and look on the right on my monitor here, if we look on the Trello board here, you can notice that there's a large quantity of tasks that I have yet to complete as part of this game. Now, these vary in terms of level of importance, level of detail, level of complexity, that kind of thing. But generally speaking, they're tasks that I can look into that I can usually complete within a couple of days, generally. That or potentially less time. So, and as you can see here, I have done plenty of work on this board, archived codes, added codes, etc. Now, one of the things I wanted to take a closer look at was projectiles. Projectiles was a task that I just recently completed 2 days ago, and without a checklist, without breaking this task down, there's no way that I would have been able to complete it. So, as you can see here, I have a checklist of 4 items, and essentially what that means is that in comparison to a large description makes this task a little bit easier to understand and much faster to complete. So, in this example, launch a projectile on, whenever you click your mouse, essentially, have projectiles sent to other players, collision detection computed on the server, use interpolation and projectile and move projectile position every tick. I understand how to do each of those 4 components, but as a whole, when I look at something like projectiles, a task that takes me a few days to complete, and it was, to be completely honest, very demoralizing. It was a very tough task to complete with collision detection on the server. It was imperative that I broke things down, and because of that, it allowed me to have success here, be able to check off all the boxes and archive the code, and now it's fully integrated in the game at least as far as I can tell, and it's bug-free right now. So this system of breaking things down has allowed me to complete tasks that otherwise would have been a little bit out of range normally. So, and in this case, now that this is done, I can move on to the next thing, whatever that is in this board. So currently the server GUI, if you want to get into specifics. So I hope this helps. Full disclaimer that I don't actually know what I'm talking about here. This is just one of the tips, and this is just one of the tricks that I've learned over the last few months with game development since I've started taking it pretty seriously since late summer of 2018. So around August or September, sometime around there. So I hope you find this useful. If you do, I would love to hear what kind of progress you're making because of it. It's indie game development is always a challenge, and it's great fun, but it's not always as easy or as fun as it looks. So I hope you find this useful, and we will see you next time.